All right, so we now have waited 5 minutes for this to kind of set up, and it did. So we're now going to cut the cheese. So remember the video showed you how to cut it. So we're going to go all the way down into the bottom and cut it into sections. And it's okay if it's moving. It's crazy, isn't it? Huh. That rennet does its job. All right, now cut it the other way, and you'll have your grid. Cutting the cheese. Yeah. I never realized that that was an actual thing until I saw them doing this. When I watched that video, because you know, you hear the expression and it means, you know, people use it for farting. But it actually is real, the cutting the cheese. I mean, it's a real thing. All right, now, let's see, we've got it. Let's go scroll up and see what our next directions tell us to do. And I'm sorry, this video is going to be shaky and you're going to get sick watching it if whoever has to watch it. All right, so now that we've cut it, we're going to put the pot back on the heat. And it has to heat up to 105. So
more waiting.
Yeah, so we're going to let it just sit there. And hang on, what does it say to do? Put the pot back on the stove and slowly heat it while stirring the curds around with a slotted spoon. But I would go slowly. Stir slowly because you don't want to break that curd up too much. Now, you are going to break the curds up a little bit as you stir, but it does say to stir slowly. It's okay to move through the curd. That's a nice curd mass, though. That's great.
It only took 5 minutes.
Yeah. Those are nice curd balls. All right. So but if you tilt this, I'm going to tilt it a little bit so we can get some of the whey to become visible. Notice how the whey is more clear. So when you look at milk and it's white, that's because the casein is throughout the solution. Remember we watched that video the other day and it said it was homogenized. Well, when it's completely homogenized like that, the casein is spread throughout the solution. Well, as soon as we do the addition of citric acid and rennet, it causes that clumping and that denaturation of the protein, and it's fascinating. To me, it's just like, this is cool. Yeah. So, yeah. And you know, when they separate curds from whey, the whey can be used. Now, we're going to throw ours away. Some people eat it or drink it. I mean, think of the protein shakes. They're it's whey protein, right? So some people eat it. You know, like the little nursery rhyme says, little Miss Moffat sat on a toffet eating her curds and whey. You know, so they
I never heard that.
Yeah, well, it's a nursery rhyme. I mean, nursery rhymes are not real common nowadays. They were much more common in the past. But yeah, it's a little nursery rhyme, and it says, along came a spider and sat down beside her and scared Miss Moffat away. All right, so let's check our temperature, see where we are temp-wise, because we want to go up to 105. We there?
It looks like it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're there. So we're going to take it off the heat. And now, the next step, so to show the people at home what the thing says. So we just heated it to 105. So take it off the heat And then what we're gonna do is collect our curd mass in our colander with its filter, okay? And we can cut that off. We don't need that heat anymore. Perfect. So this is the fun part. So hopefully, if we carefully collect our curd and put it in our filter, we will be able to get a good curd of mass and have a good ball of mozzarella cheese. So using your spoon, just start collecting those chunks and sticking them into the colander.
It's kind of gross.
It does kind of look gross, but you'll be surprised
Yeah.
when you can get it to come into a ball. It's like pretty cool. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of cheesecloth before. If you've never heard of cheesecloth, anyway, cheesecloth is named cheesecloth because it's like a filter. So you can use it for making cheese instead of using a coffee filter. So I just didn't have any cheesecloth, so we're using a coffee filter instead to keep most of our curds in the filter instead of going through, because they had a really fine wire mesh colander or filter. I don't have one of those. So see how that way? See the way underneath? How it's almost clear. So casein really does, it clumps up really well. That's awesome. All right, keep going. You're doing great. Yep. I mean, well, imagine how much cheese you'd get if you did a whole gallon. So, if you're gonna do this at home and you don't use a lot of mozzarella, like a whole gallon would be wasteful. But a half a gallon gives you a nice little cheese ball. And then if you want to make a pizza or whatever, you know, yeah. How much have we still got down in there? We still got a lot down in there.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
It just takes a while to get it all out. Because it's like slippery. I think what I'm going to do, can you hold the camera for me? I'll be right back. What I'm going to do is do this. I'm going to transfer over. Let's see if I can get some of this to drain out. Transfer over to a new colander, a new filter. That filters. It's beautiful. It's a nice curd ball.
It's already becoming solid at the bottom. It was already becoming like solid at the bottom.
It was. It is. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Now, what we're going to do once you can press it, and I'm trying to decide probably what would be better, is using this spoon to press on it to get as much of the whey out as possible. You might even be able to do it with your hands because it looks like it's starting to form a nice little curd ball. So getting as much of the whey out as possible. Now, if you've got most of it, we're good. Now, we are going to, at this point, form it into a ball, get as much of the whey out as possible. And then what we're going to do is put it in the mic for about 30 seconds at first to start folding it. And after you've folded it the first time is when you add your salt. And then we heat it in the mic again until it reaches a temperature, they say, of 160 to 170. It's really hot. So if you are sensitive to hot temperatures, it's going to be hard to do the stretching. However, hopefully you'll be able to handle it because that is a requirement. All right, so take a picture of your curd mass, and then what we'll do is see if we can get a little bit more of the whey out. Actually, I think this will be easier with your hands. Just go ahead and start forming it into a ball. Now, if you want to, because you've been touching stuff, you have the option of either getting fresh gloves for whoever wants to handle it.
Do you want to handle it?
Okay. So just get some fresh gloves. That way there's not germs on them. And your hands won't touch anything. We'll do all the work except you're going to be the one that's going to handle the curd ball. So don't touch anything else except for the curd mass with those fresh gloves. Yay! All right, form it into a ball and squeeze any excess whey out that you can. And see if you can squeeze it. And when she's done getting that formed into a ball, you can empty out the whey from the bottom container. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to find the salt. So we'll have some salt. Yeah, here we go. Ouch. I would say about a half a tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of salt is probably going to be enough. All right, that looks good. Now, if it's starting to fall apart a little bit, that's fine, because when we add heat again, it'll help it go back together. So, let me see. Let's see if we can capture those wayward curds.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. So, take that whey and dump it back into the pot. And now put your curd ball in there. We'll add those. And now, let's bring it over here to the mic. So we're going to go 30 seconds. So stick it in there. Now this will, when you heat it, it starts to get some of the excess whey will start coming out, and you'll work it, fold it, kind of pull it, work it, fold it, pull it. Anyway, they call it stretching, and eventually it'll be like taffy, and it starts looking kind of shiny in appearance. Anyway, it's strange. So we're going to do 30 seconds, 30 seconds at first. Go take it back to the table, fold it, pour off any excess whey, and then we'll salt it before heating it for the second time. Okay. All right. So, it might be hot, so be careful. So you pick it up and start moving it around, folding it, squeezing it, folding it, twisting it, folding it. Is it hot?
Yep.
Yep. There you go. Folding it in on itself. It's beautiful.
I don't like that sound.
All right, let's get rid of some of this whey. All right, so now if you would salt one side, and then you kind of sprinkle it. There you go. Now you're gonna have to kind of try to spread that salt throughout, and then fold it in. And if it won't fold well, we'll heat it again. All right, so to sprinkle the other side, just kind of sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Kind of rub that around and fold that in, and then we'll heat it again. All right, so bring it back over here to the mic, and let's do another 30 seconds. And it does get really hot. If your hands don't like it, I can take over if you want me to. So, but I'll have to change gloves too. I don't want to. My germs or the germs of my phone onto the food. Since it's food, I want it to be as clean as possible. It's gonna be hot. All right. So see if it's too hot for you to handle. If it is, I will get my.
Folding again?
You're gonna do stretching and folding, yes. Is it too bad?
That is good. It's just like when I put more pressure on it, it's when I feel it more. It's okay.
Because it's technically supposed to be up to 160.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure we're not even there yet. We're not even close to probably being that temperature yet. So if you want me to, I can get some clean gloves and I'll take over the next fold.
Getting used to
So
it.
if you want to hold my video camera
Maybe
for
the
me.
next one.
Finish folding for a second or two, and I'm going to get some red gloves. And then the box of smalls out. All right. So we're going to try this again. Let's get rid of some excess weight. All right, so put it back in there, and let's see. I set it for a minute. I'm gonna let it go a little longer than 30 seconds this time. Because you're supposed to be able to start stretching it, and it's still really crumbly. So I'm hoping that if we heat it up a little bit more, that'll help. Maybe. Because why sometimes it's just perfect and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and sometimes it doesn't? I have no idea. Yeah, so now it's super hot. Woo-hoo. Phew, yeah, let's check the temp. Let's see where it goes to. All right, that's about 150, so it's at least close to where they say they want it in terms of temp for stretching. So we'll see. Whew, it is hot.
I'm so happy.
Ay, ay, ay. Whoa. Woohoo.
You just out. Pretend it's cold.
Yes. Okay, now.
Oh, see, it's not crumbling anymore though. Smudge.
It doesn't, I mean, it does better if you can get it hotter. It's just really hard to handle. Yes. Woo-hoo. Ah. Now, stretching, it's supposed to stretch and start getting more shiny in appearance. Woohoo! Hot!
Do you want me to take over?
I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Ah, Lord. Whew. But you see it's starting to get a little bit more of a shiny texture.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay. And it's, again, supposed to be about the consistency of taffy. So, stretching it. Starting maybe a little bit more heat. I'm gonna heat it one more time. Lord. Put 30 more seconds on there and go 45. It's hot. Sorry. But yesterday I had a group that was stretching it like
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah. If you get it hot enough and pliable enough, it'll do it. Yeah, actually, I don't know. They shape it. You can braid it. I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can do with it once you get it pliable enough. Okay. Maybe this will be the last stretch. Diana, in the other room, in the freezer, there's a bowl of water. Take that bowl of water out.
Want me to change my gloves or something?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
And there's ice tray. See if you can put a few pieces of ice. Woohoo! Actually, bring the ice tray with you.
It's not.
It shouldn't be. There you go. Phew. Dang. All right. Okay. Okay. I think that's stretched enough. So what we're gonna now do is I'm gonna break it into 2 different balls so both of you guys can have some. Because it says to put it in the cold water first and then to add ice. All right, so here's a ball of Mott's. It's not perfect, but it'll work. And this one. All right, there we go. Now, I'll let that sit for a few minutes and then we add ice to finish it up. Now, let's see if we can get any more curds out of here. See if I have a better. Can you give me another one of those coffee filters? Let me see if I can actually get a little bit more of this. All right, that didn't work. I need cheesecloth. Cheesecloth would be perfect instead of this. But I don't have any cheesecloth. You know what works even better? Have y'all seen those filters that they use for paint? It's almost like a bag, a cloth bag. And they make them for people who paint to get like filtering yuck out of the paint.